Hey there, I'm Eternal, and I'm an object show fan that has barely watched any object shows. We have to fix that. Let's play Object Catchup. Hello and welcome into Object Catchup, the series where we discuss object show episodes right after watching them. Whether they are new or old, famous or unknown, it doesn't matter. We will get to it all. Now, today we will be doing a little bit of a keeper. So, show creators have happened to release episodes in the past couple of days, and we should be getting to them because it's been a little bit, and we have a little bit of a break day because I'm gonna pair up, taking a look at the next two Object-December segments together. All right, to not properly exaggerate. So for this one, we're gonna be taking a look at the episode from the creators that we have keep up with. And then maybe if we have time, we can cover a request or two to cover down that haul. All right. So let's get into it. Let's go in order of episode release. All right. Let's start off here with BFBD then. So BFBD2 has had a couple of episodes since we last took a look at it. 2 episodes to be in fact. The last time a BFBD episode that we took a look at was episode 2, the first episode where the challenge properly started. The challenge was to guess the number. And then unfortunately was to not guess the number, and then Yarn unfortunately guesses it correctly, which means they get eliminated. Some more remain. Let's see how the fellas fare in episode 3. You ladies alright? Alright, that is episode 3 of BFBD2. So we have ourselves another challenge. Don't let your egg get broken. Everybody's doing a pretty good tactic, trying to not break the egg. This is surprisingly easy to hold an egg if you've tried it before in real life. It is not that complicated. So, we need to try to sabotage, and of course Grape Fago has the idea of coming in to attack one of the ones which was oblivious, which was Candy Apple, and indeed we do in fact kick them out and break their egg, which means that Candy Apple is out because their egg is broken, and the others are starting to realize just how much of a threat you might be. Having a character that's actually playing to win in BFBD, this might not have been something that we saw yet. I mean, if you imagine the character that specifically didn't play to win won the other time, so many things can happen in VFBD, and characters are thinking Lava Lamp and Penny need to find strategies. Cool Crayon is starting to turn on their friend. Sunflower is the next target. Intense drama. Bun dun 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 dun. It is time for episode 4 and the latest episode of BFBD 2, Genuinely a Menace. And that is BFBD24, Genuinely a Menace. So the challenge this time around is to draw literally anything. They will get judged. The worst drawing gets out. Lava Lamp ends up getting a 10 out of 10 by drawing ship art of them and Penny. Hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do for the 10 out of 10. It's a little bit complicated, but hey, it goes. Penny draws a more normal art of them too. In the meanwhile, Great Vega draws a line so that they get literally a point, and then they have the plan. Yo, if I just destroy one of the other drawings, then I won't be last, which is true. But it is also extremely mean because you're saying because there's literally no effort being placed into actually doing challenges. We're just sabotaging other people. Sunflower's drawing is very cool, however, unfortunately. It gets destroyed, which means that Sunflower gets eliminated. RIP. Grape Vago keeps going. Grape Vago keeps being a menace to everybody around, genuinely, dare I even say. What is the way to stop them? Well, I don't really know. It's probably to just defend your drawings, because to be fair, to the Candy Apple and to Sunflower, they've done a very bad job of keeping themselves on the low key, right? They've had stuff out in the open displayed. They need to start protecting their stuff, making so that Reveal can't just come in and go snatch, they need to actually have some response, have some defense mechanisms prepared, which I'm sure the other ones will. Cool Crowd is starting to get upset. You can see in their drawing that's is Great Vago being mean. So yeah, well, anybody saw Great Vago? The answer is probably at some point, relatively soon. I think the fellas who are still remaining are now a little bit more complicated to trick. I think I have faith in Penny and the Lava Lamp to prop up some defense mechanisms. To be honest, but yeah, I mean, stuff's getting interesting. I don't remember who my winner prediction even was. I think it was Lava Lamp, but let's we can we hope for the best out here. All right. That's all I can realistically say about being BD2. We're getting there. A challenge, there's a little bit of drama, and by drama I mean there's a singular drama, but hey, that's more than last time. Series is definitely happening. Let's go. The next show that we're going to be taking a look at, we're going back to Nake. So, since we covered Nake a couple of days ago, two more episodes of the Nake saga, the Nake story, the Nake situation, the show in heavy quotation marks, the most confusing thing of all time has dropped two more episodes. If you remember last time, where were we? Chair runs away from Tabby after getting mauled by them, even though they don't remember it. They meet a weird chip guy behind a tree and become friends with them. There's a challenge that we don't see, and Zedkey first symbol and awesome TV, which apparently is a character now, ends up also being up for eliminations. What is going on? Nobody knows. Let's find out. Let's not find out. Let's get more confused in the next episode. Starting off with episode I think 15 of the show, which is nakenakenakenak. Let's go. Yeah, I just watched 1 minute and 34 seconds of things that certainly happen on the screen. I mean, as it goes with Nick, at this point, I've accepted that I don't really know what's happening. There's not really much that I can analyze because it's all wrong, anyways, right? Like we just switch it up. There is no consistency, you know. Like you start thinking, oh, yo, this is like a puzzle that you gotta compete and it's cool and all, right? No, this isn't a puzzle that you have to compete. This is like a puzzle, but they give you 25% of each. They grab four puzzles, they give you 25% of each puzzle, so that you make one puzzle with technically the same amount of pieces, but then it's all different puzzles. So you can't ever actually complete it, right? That's what happens here. It's like it doesn't really work. Like, okay, we're like, oh no, Dandy Zeki don't think they're on the other teams. No, never mind. I guess they're on other teams. Right, unless we're doing individual challenges. Is that what we're doing? Maybe that's what we're doing. It's impossible to really know. But like we have the cat fella pressing the button by saying boop, and then the text bar hits it. That's cool. That's fun. Um, Stu eventually takes the hit for them, which is interesting. Maybe the TV and the chips guy they were saved. Like that's interesting. Are we even doing teams? Is that what we're doing? And maybe we're doing teams. I feel like we're probably not doing teams. That's the only way that you could possibly logically explain it. Even though I'm going to be honest, I think we probably are doing teams because I'm going to be absolutely for real. I don't know how we would it. Like it just seems like something. The TV keeps getting unknown callers, and it keeps blocking the number. Maybe it's the number being the one from the outside. Remember, the freaking nose fellow was the only one that we've heard so far call. So maybe that's going on. So yeah, look, if I had to give a desperate attempt to try to figure out what is happening in the show, presumably we're not doing teams anymore, but everybody thinks that we're doing teams, right? Because that's how we're like, oh, there's not enough safe spots for all of us. Yeah, you see, like Chips maybe seems to know. I think we're probably in a merge already. The eliminated characters and symbols still present. Presumably, maybe it would be have been fur to get eliminated because the TV's still around and the symbol's still around, which means that presumably Fur got out again, but it's impossible to truly know. That's my current expectation of the situation, but my honest idea is that there just isn't a situation. Nake hexadecimal, let's fucking go. Okay, so there's a Nake hexadecimal, and now we have ourselves, I guess, we got to lock in the situation. So yet again, the challenge is press the button. However, of course, the button is getting procedurally more aggressive. Actually, it's not getting procedurally more aggressive. It gets really aggressive sometimes. So we have a gigantic mech laser shooting demon, who just so happens to be a button, and Zedkey obviously comes in and fights it out, destroys it, because Zedkey is the goat, undisputably. We figure out that yeah, we're Chip fella is definitely taking advantage of Stool. Poor Stool. Can somebody like like actually appreciate Stool as a person? Come on, bro. Like Yeah, but the ship's like, yo, you should take one for the team. And it's like, okay. Well, they all eventually just explode by a rocket. And then Phantom, because remember, Phantom got mentioned one time in episode 3 as Phantom is safe. And then nobody mentioned them again. I was super lost about them for ages. And now they're up here again. Because they brought some they brought tequilas? What? That's not a tequila. But yeah, and the onion fella dies, and then we have Chippo, Phantom, Stu, and Awesome TV being up for elimination. For once, it actually makes sense how the people that lost. Um, yeah, the only thing that don't, the, no, the like the thing about it is that you wanna guess what is happening, but it's just impossible for it to happen, right? Like, there's no situation where these four should be the only ones who fail the challenge because we saw multiple other people die. You know, like we saw multiple other people be dead, such as the freaking the onion fella, and then Symbol probably got hit as well, right? Like Ferb might be a character, probably not. I mean, they're recommended, right? So it's like there's a debate where it's like, how are these the only four who lost? Like, how did the onion fella who also died completely not lose? Like, you see, those are the types of questions that it's impossible to really answer, right? Like, you can try to make up solutions, but they just don't work. The show doesn't give you enough logic for it to actually be solved. Like, it's just like, why would it be like this? Like, my presumption is that we're doing individual immunity. My presumption is that there are no teams right now, right? There definitely there were teams at some point. However, remember, like, I think at a certain point, I don't remember what episode, but we did have a switch up. Remember, like, it was like vote members of team unnamed, but like now it's like rank the ones who lost, which implies that I think we're doing individual immunity, right? However, it's just how did certain people lose? How did certain people not lose? It's impossible to really know. Again, it's like, for example, that episode where Stool and Chippo eventually met, and they didn't lose the challenge. How did they do that? I don't know. They were pressing the button, right? And it's just like they didn't have time to press the button because we literally saw them not do that, right? So, it's the incredible question. And also, who got eliminated? I have no idea. Symbol didn't get eliminated because they're here. Stu didn't get eliminated because they're here. Who were the other two that were up for elimination? I don't even know. It was probably Zedkey was up for elimination, right? And they didn't lose. And then Dandy didn't show up, so presumably Dandy got out. Maybe there's again. It's hard to it's really hard to know. And again, this show kind of just does whatever it wants. Like, I really wish that this show took the time to set itself straight, right? To like give itself an ounce of logic, because even though like it's cute, it's an interesting vibe, and it feels like a puzzle, right? And it's fun to try to decipher it. It's not fun to try to decipher randomness, right? It's like something that just isn't like cohesive, and it's like maybe it is cohesive, but you need to give us more than if you want to make it sound cohesive, right? Because like if you're just imagining, oh yeah, then Stu went and did the challenge off screen, it's like, oh yeah, okay, you think that, but we don't get to think that, right? So like it's just completely out of line, right? And it's unfortunate because the series is really interesting, but it's just that, it's just that. Um, that's the Nake chat that I will probably have every time I talk about Nake. Let's go next. All right, the next show that we're going to be taking a look at is December. So December, the little show that takes place around 30 seconds per episode, has had its third installment there by Battleforsupreme. Just as a reminder, last time we eliminated the wait, who did we eliminate? We eliminated Ref, right? And then we had the challenge, which was to point at people. People got pointed at, and then it was a vote to say between the candy corn, the sock, the broken ornament, and then the pine tree. Let's see who got out. Let's see what happens in the next episode, which is titled .png. Let's go. All right, that is episode 3. So, everybody ties up one vote except for Candy Cane, which means that Candy Cane gets to choose who they want out of the tie. They end up wanting the sock out. They're dead. Then the challenge, guess the font. It's some very fancy looking font that looks like a space movie. Nearly everybody surprisingly knows that it's a Preda something, which I mean, like I don't know how they know this information, but let's just say that they do. However, Pine Tree is the only one to actually be correct. It's Preda 65. Candy Cone says Preda 65 with a question mark, and even though the milk knows that it's Preda 65, the cookie drops in a 1 at the last second, which means that it's actually Preda 61 that they say together. Cookie doesn't wasn't doing anything yet, and the first time that they do something, they immediately screw up. Oops! And the other two had no idea. I'd probably eliminate the snowball sludge because they had they at least they didn't even say anything. They could have said like a word and tried to hold it. It was a font, right? Like at least Broken Ornament was like, I don't know, Mirage, right? Like it's completely wrong, but at least it's something. The snow fella that's now green because of ref is this didn't say anything. However, milk did the cookies did throw the challenge and they are doing a 6-7, so maybe they're sure. No, they're doing a 6-7. Get them out. Screw them. Screw off. Okay. Let's go next. All right, the next thing that we're going to be taking a look at is titled The Battle for Secret Prizes, or TBFSP, created by Nizer Gold Gold. The Nizer Gold Gold we covered quite a while ago, actually. One of the first batch of catch-up episodes, like I think before even episode 10, because they made Battle for Insane Powers, which has one episode. Well, one of their other signature series was titled Battle for Secret Prizes, and apparently season 2, episode 1 kicked in and released. However, before we can get to that, we have to get to the other episodes. They're all really short, shouldn't take us too long. It's 6 episodes, and then the 7th being the one from season 2. Let's give ourselves a quick speed romp through all of it, starting off with Battle for Secret Prizes 1, Jumping Rabbits. Let's go. Alright, that is episode 1 of Battle for Secret Prizes. So, there's not even a semblance of audio in this video, like no voice center, but no audio either. That's fine. We have ourselves a host, which looks like a pin if it was a Rubik's Cube block. Then we have ourselves our contestants, which are water storage, whatever that means, rusted cup, tile, airball, house decor, storage cab, and I think there's some. Wait, was there somebody else? No, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. Airball is like a ball but with a cape, so they're like, oh, they can fly. And then the house decor is like a lamp. They both look like badminton shuttlecocks. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's weird. If I had a nickel for every time that something in that a contestant in the show just looks like a badminton shuttle, I'd have way too many. But yeah, the challenge is to jump over a wall. Somebody tries going around it. Nope. We said jump, not walk. And then Tile eventually manages to stack on top of the water storage and jump over past, which means they're safe. I bet it's up for elimination. Who would I eliminate? I don't know. Probably the rusted cup for trying to go around, which is, illegal. You can't do that. Let's go with episode 2, falling over. Why is the thumbnail the number 3? Whatever. Let's go. Okay, that is episode 2 of the Battle for Secret Prizes. So we have ourselves the elimination. No actual voting numbers are shown, whether it's the total number of votes, any characters amount of votes. We don't know. We don't get to see it. We don't know if it even was there, right? Everybody is either safe or X, which means not safe. Water storage ends up being eliminated by the system with we don't know how many votes. Then our challenge is to walk around a hole, which is interesting. However, this hole apparently seems to be kind of difficult to walk around because it seems to have some sort of pulling gravitational force, as 2 people try to walk around it and fail, both Tile and Rusted Cup, which so far has failed to walk around an object twice so far. Good job, you're doing very well for yourself. And then eventually Airball, by just going a wider distance away from the hole, manages to get around first and is safe. Everybody else is up for elimination. Who would I eliminate? I don't know. Probably Rusted Cup for failing twice. Like, bro, you gotta get stopped. Let's go with episode 3, which is titled The Hole. Alright, there we have it. That is episode 3. So apparently there's a month between episodes because the fellows who dropped in the hole were waiting there in a month until eventually the host pin grabbed them back to do the elimination. Who ends up getting eliminated? Storage cab. Apparently they pushed the fella into the hole, which I didn't understand. I just thought the hole had some like black holy powers and put like just brought people in. But no, apparently there is actually a semblance of evil doings being done. They get eliminated. They try to fling themselves with a flinging machine that they made, which, hey, to be fair, did actually work at flinging them far away. But unfortunately, the pin can teleport, and they get brutally disintegrated. Challenge, guess the word. A couple of people try ball, nope, storage camp, which, hey, it's a smart idea. Maybe it's like, oh, do you remember your fallen contestant? Did you care about them? Say their name, right? However, no, the word is actually big, which somehow Rusted Cup manages to guess based on absolutely nothing. That is the luck of a generation. Okay, that is generational luck. Everybody's up for elimination. Who do I think is getting out? I don't know. Maybe the airball because they were like egotistical for saying ball if they're a ball, right? Something like that. I have no idea how eliminations in this show are gonna go. I don't even. Are people even voting? Like we're not getting voting numbers. I'm having a little bit of a suspicion here. Episode 4, the final 3. All right, so it has been another while, and we end up having ourselves a couple of things happen. So everybody dislikes Tao because they're egotistical and complain all the time, and then they get eliminated because of that, which means that we have ourselves the final 3. And there's no challenge this time around. You just simply vote who you want to be in the final 2, and I don't know, will we vote who we want to win as well? That makes 2 votings in a row without a challenge. But who would I want to be in the final 2? I don't know, probably the house decor. I think they're, in my opinion, they're my favorite design. The rusted cup just looks like a sheet of metal, and the air ball just looks like a badminton racket. Like you know those toys where it's like a holdy thing, and there's like a ball, and you're supposed to throw the ball and catch it with the thing. Yeah, that's what that looks like. But then we end up having a bonus scene of where the other people are waiting, and they're not really having fun over in the yellow room with a couple of shapes, and that's about it. It makes sense. I wouldn't really enjoy it very either, but hey, they gotta wait some more time. Let's go to episode 5, titled "End is Getting Closer." All right, that is episode 5. So the eliminated contestants keep complaining, and then the pin decides to bring them out, even though it's one episode early. Usually we bring out the eliminated contestants for the finale. It's not the finale yet, but we see the votes for the first time. I actually see voting numbers. The final 2 ends up being Airball and the Rusted Cup with 4 and 3 votes respectively. Goodbye, House Decor. I guess I was alone in my appreciation for how they look like the IKEA logo. So they are officially gone, and now we get to vote who we want to win. Do I care who wins? Honestly, not really. I don't know. I mean, Airball won the last vote. I don't know why they wouldn't win this one, but I'm gonna say that they won't win this one because the Rusted Cup believers are gonna come back and say, shit, I gotta put in more effort because we're the underdog. So I'm gonna say Rusted Cup is gonna win. But yeah, I don't know why he brought over the eliminated contestants back if there was nothing to see yet. Like, bro, what are we doing? All right, episode 6. I am number 1. Hey. All right, just to close off my 100% inaccurate record of this show, I in fact completely wrongly predict the winner as well. It ends up that 0 votes is what Rusted Cup gets. Their fans all dipped, and the 3 votes go to Airball, which ends up being the big old champion. I always want to say, should a winner represent the series? I think Airball represents this show pretty nicely because they don't really make a lot of sense, and I kind of don't know what they are, but sure, I guess, which is kind of this show. I don't really know what it's trying to be. I don't really understand a lot of it, but hey, it's something quick and it's fine, right? Good job, Airball. You have successfully won a robot leg that lets you both disintegrate people and reintegrate people. So basically, it's a torture device. Fun. I find it interesting how, yeah, they've just been chilling. Like we just had to bring over house decor. Like, yo, go to the bleachers now. Yeah, because they didn't need to ever see the elimination area, even though they were eliminated. Will there be a season 2? No, according to the pin fella or the I'm just guessing you're a pin. I have no idea what the hell you are still. But it's looking a little bit complicated because 3 days ago, Battle for Secret Prizes Season 2 Episode 1 dropped. Uh-oh, what is that? We might have undone our word. Well then, let's see how this retcon is going to be in Episode 1, Chaotic Presence. It's the only episode, but yeah, Chaotic Presence. Alright, so we get a little bit of lore on what the hell's going on. So the pin isn't actually hosting anything. They're just chilling over there, flying in space, as hosts tend to do. And then we discovered that actually Earth is going to shit. We see the wall, by the way, from that one challenge is where they're hiding, which I think is cute. That's a nice detail. I actually enjoy that detail quite a lot. I think it's cool. But yeah, they're all hiding and running away because it's like, yo, Airball has this whole disintegrating device. The world is going to shit. Water storage and tile are dead. And then they find a phone which somebody happens to have. I don't know whose phone this is, but they have a couple of random contacts: Terrace, Capity, Lazzy, Zor, and Cortrex. Which none of them sound like objects, but we call one at random, and then Terex arrives. As some weird alien looking remote, and it's like, yo, we need season 2, and it's like, okay then. They fight back against the airball who tries to shoot them, and it's like, you should have messed with me. And now we get to vote on who should be in season 2. So apparently our choices, according to the comments, the top comments are Pink Strawberry, Pink Strawberry. We don't know who that is. House Decor, presumably the one from season 1. Storage Cap, presumably the one from season 1. Rusted Cup, Airball, also from season 1. Slippery, no idea what that might be. It might be like a glass. Dumbbell, a Sparky, might be a Spark Seedy, probably a Seed Snow Globe. Rusted Cup, again, Rusted Cup and Rusted Cup. Wait, what? Tile, yeah, that's another one. Water Storage, yeah, that's the one who died. A, B, and C. Presumably, each one of those is a letter, algebra and type character. Roll on, no idea what that is. Antimatter, that sounds cool. I hope they join. Hole, I mean, that I guess could also be interesting, but antimatter sounds cooler. Smartwatch, sure. Iron Ball and Golden Ball, okay, that can make a duo. And then Spiky, that's a character from II. So, no idea who's getting in. I'm gonna let the viewers figure that out. Should I actually pick the character? Should I pick? Should I pick? Okay, let me do my pick. Okay, I Airball to come back. Let's say Airball, Rusted Cup, House Decor. Then we can get Snow Globe, Sparky, and Antimatter. We can go with B. Because no, let's go A and B. I think a duet of algebra would be interesting. Then we can go with Iron Ball and Golden Ball for another duet. And then let's get I think I said antimatter already, so let's go Roll On, because I don't know what that is and it just sounds interesting. And then Slippery, because it can make some fun gags. That would be my cast, but I'm not gonna vote it because I'm just gonna let the other people sort themselves out on that part. But all right, well, we are going to discover what the hell is going on in Battle for Secret Prizes Season 2 in the future. But for now, that's that. Next. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to be taking a look at is TUOS Horizon 2, because a couple of days ago, late, because I actually wasn't subscribed to the Crispy channel. Super sorry, I don't know how that slipped by me. But has the 4th and final season of TUOS Horizon that started with an interesting cast of characters, which I praised. In the first episode titled Color Chaos, we were apparently bored of having the ground be all green, so the challenge was to literally just change the color. Everybody does a pretty bad job at it, but eventually an explosion bomb gets the entire environment to become gray. And then Anpan, 2-Ball, and Top Hat end up being up for elimination. Alright then, let's see who gets out. Let's see what's gonna happen next in episode 2, just for the kick. Okay, that is TUOS Horizon 2. So, lore has officially been dropped. Before we actually chat about the lore, well, let's chat about this competition itself, because competition is actually going really simplistically right now. So, out of the 10 votes, eliminated is 2-Ball with 5 of them. That makes perfect sense. They are a generic character because they're just kind of an 8-Ball clone. So, like they're like an 8-Ball but mean instead of nice, right? So instead of indifferent, they're mean. So like, nah, they get out. Then our challenge ends up being to kick the ball as far as possible. The furthest distance will be safe. Everybody else is up for elimination. These balls have a debatable capability of having the stiffness that they want. To be honest, sometimes they even go backwards. I don't really know how these balls work. They have some weird properties. They might be cheating. I'm not gonna lie. However, a couple of people do good, a couple of people do bad. Lamp does a pretty abysmal job. I mean, they're literally flying and have arms, which means that they can literally like throw upwards and it'll go so far, especially because like they're already flying, so they have more total distance. But nope, we don't think of that because Lamp is one of those like kind of lazy characters. So all right, fine, flying contestant somehow throws the challenge and pancakes it pretty badly. In the meanwhile, the teacup also ends up doing pretty badly as well. I mean, they kick it, but then it just reverses itself back into themselves. As I'm saying, we might have some shady business going on in this challenge. I don't know how these balls have been moving, but yeah, Yen kicks it pretty well. Top Hat kicks it pretty well, and Olive kicks it pretty well, which means that the other three are up for elimination. Who would I want? Who would I expect to be eliminated? Personally, I would vote a teacup out, although I can probably expect the Lamb to get out. They're like the most indifferent type of character out of them all, even though I do think that they're the coolest in terms of design. Then we have ourselves the lore. Okay, let's actually chat about the lore here for a moment. So at the beginning, okay, we have a pin style character, some tack fella, and they find something drops on the ground, some yellow ball drops on the ground. It looks dirty. It looks a lot like the asset for the character that we see near the end, which is some type of yellow pearl character. So they're in some sort of base that is currently being held that has some guard as a puzzle. That's a puzzle break. So Vem and Nico are apparently like I don't know. They're trying to save somebody, but they don't want to be caught, and they're trying to say that if Top Hat is okay. So of course Top Hat is a character in the show, however. So what is going on? It's impossible to know. We also apparently get the inklings of that one bug fella. If I'm not mistaken, this is the bug fella that closed off. TUOS last season, right? TUOS flip. Well, maybe it's not that bug specifically that closed it off, but some type. But like, it's a bug species character. So yeah, presumably that guy. Which is interesting, however, because like, how could they have stolen Top Hat? Presumably, is that this guy's base? Is that what's going on? I don't really know. So then, of course, it immediately raises up the question: is the Top Hat participating? Are they the Top Hat, or has the real Top Hat been stolen and replaced with a dummy to participate in the show? So that way, are we doing that, or are these two misunderstanding and going into a base thing in the talk? Someone actually Top Hat got kidnapped to participate in a show, but instead we think that they went to the base. My presumption is that we might have a fake Top Hat currently participating, or we might have a future flashback. Like, we might have a let's peek into the future here. Maybe Top Hat eventually gets kidnapped. And then we're chatting then, because if you think about it, it's a little bit weird how like we get to see this bush, right, that the tack looks onto, right? You know, they look onto and they see the ball, but then we wake up the next morning and Top Hat has been there, right? Which like implies that either somehow these fellas are popping in and out when the characters have not been looking, or maybe they have been looking, and it's like it's difficult to say, right? Because that is the same spot, like those same two triangles pillars have been there, which means that like it's kind of weird chronology, right? Like, is it that when the others were sleeping by the tree, the attack comes in and there's the big old noise and that's what's happening? But then like, what is going on? Who is this guy? What is like is that was that yellow thing, is that just the ball? Is that the character itself, like that weird character that we see inside of the base? There's a lot of questions. There is a lot of questions that I currently don't exactly have answers for, but I'm just gonna pose all of the questions right here right now, just so that it's like, yo, I watched this thing, these are the questions that I currently possess, and then, you know, hopefully we can work to answer them in future episodes. But hey, the lore has successfully intrigued. It's the final season of the Ultimately Object show, so let's go hard, alright? Come on. Alright, that's all for now. Next. Alright, and the next thing that we're going to be taking a look at is the 22ndly Object Show, or the All-Stars, which is the season that we're currently in, the 20 Sauce All-Stars. So, just a reminder of last time, Blockloon got eliminated, and now we were doing a rock throwing challenge. Pie Holder ends up knocking over the other competitors, and they are into the final two. Alongside who, however, will it be Wild Steven or Wind Token? I guess we're gonna find out. Presumably, this should be right the second to last episode. I don't or the last. I don't really know. But 20 SOS All Star 7 is titled "France is not a country." I guess that's what happens when you win the Game Awards. Let's go. I have just watched the 7th episode of the 22ndly Object Show All Stars. We discovered that Wind Token was eliminated. That makes sense because their design is not that interesting, and they also didn't do that much in the past few challenges, sort of winning without really doing too much on the actual screen. This means that we are on to our final two, which is Pie Holder and Why Steven. Who is gonna win the show? I have no idea. Why Steven has kept being an underdog. I kept saying that they were gonna get eliminated. However, they keep surviving, which means that I'm gonna predict them to win the show. I'm gonna put my faith in them at the very last moment, even though I never put it before. It is kind of tiring to do this song and dance. However, I wanted to do it just like the episode did for the entire length of it. What am I doing? I don't understand. But yeah, okay. I can't keep this up. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all that I can realistically say. Though. But yeah, I mean the cool episode is fast. Hey, it's one of those episodes that's like the second to last episode is always not very interesting. But yeah, that's all. Good luck to those two. Who's gonna win? I don't know. We'll find out in the 22ndly Object Show All Stars finale. Next. The next show that we're going to be taking a look at is Balls, alright? So, Balls, episode 7 released a couple of days ago, so that means that we gotta keep an eye out on it. Just as a reminder from what happened last time, we had the elimination of Shitty Bond. They got sent to the underworld of eliminated contestants, which have been trying to stack out based on a random crack that was made a while ago. I think by I don't remember how exactly, but either way, we need to patch it up as the challenge, and then we place a cyan ball on the thing on the crack, which currently stops it temporarily. It means that everybody else is up for elimination. Let's find out what happens. Will they manage to ever escape? We'll find out. The thumbnails are very cool as usual. The Balls thumbnails have always been kind of fun. Brubbah. Alright, that is the 7th episode of Balls, the finale. Oh, I forgot about that. But we have ourselves a lot of additional effort than usual placed in the groundwork of backgrounds, right? Like backgrounds have had a way increase in production value since the past couple of episodes. I mean, remember, last episode I was like, oh my god, it's a background that isn't white, and it was just squiggly. Look at this background. This background looks fire. That just looks good. You got backgrounds in this shit. We're really making it to the big leagues. We start off here with a shout out to FNAD24. So good job, FNAD24. Just a reminder, FNAD24 is the creator of BFA, which is the show that this cameos with a couple of episodes ago, and also borrows the co-host for, which by the way, the co-hosts are gone as Pink Ball asks and then gets crushed by a gigantic steel cube. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, their show's over, so you know they're presumably back. They're relaxing on in vacation or whatever they're doing. So yeah. Then we have our eliminated character being the acid yellow ball, which makes a perfect sense. I mean, at the end of the day, they were gonna win the challenge by being mean, and then they lose the challenge on a complete and total technicality, right? So yeah, I know that just means that they're absolutely cooked from moment zero here. The purple ball still gets a couple of votes because they're not really been doing anything, to be honest. But it is the final challenge, right? So we gotta start, like, you know, locking in, stepping up. And we have ourselves a final challenge, which is a triathlon. So 3 different challenges in a challenge. So you have to walk on the tightrope. By the way, great, very smooth moving from one direction to the next. You know, considering this show doesn't usually have smooth animation. It's a very nice change of pace. Then eat 5 million chocolate balls and then fight a wild brother. A Brubbah. I'm presuming that's the title. They look adorable. Look at this monster, bro. They don't look like a monster. They look adorable. I love them. Um, but then we have ourselves the challenge, which the cyan ball really doesn't want to do. They don't feel like doing. So then the ping ball for some reason just gets them to come by and it's like, hey, if you won't do yours thing, maybe you can, help me out as like a bonus. Um, and in the meantime, Purple Ball ends up, finally locking in. Purple Ball is pretty much gay, so you don't actually need to do anything in this show because, if you do something in this show, you're more likely to be eliminated rather than if you don't really do anything. If you just remain roughly out of the equation, you'll be chill. And in this one, however, they have to move, so they walk slow and steady. They donate the chocolate balls away while pink ball and green ball eat it. By the way, I'm a gigantic fan of the transition piece. Who are you? I am E. Cool. Love that image. That image is fire. But then we have the final step of the challenge is to defeat the Brubbah. We're out here trying to defeat the Brubbah while Purple Ball just freaking walks over to the end, and then we end up having the finish. Good job, you won. Yes, Purple Ball wins. Is this a deserved winner? I don't think it's necessarily the character that represents the show the best. However, at the end of the day, it's a solid winner. They act super chill, they act smart, and I like me some chill characters. And they're one of the few balls that had a noticeably different design elements in the terms of their eyes than most of the other ones, which is just the same asset recolored. So it ended up being different. What did they win? We don't know. We are apparently going to show. And then the episode ends. We need to see what's the prize. This can't be the last episode. You can't have the last episode. There's more to see. So you know how the entire world seems to be crumbling, right? Because the underworld is starting to, seep into the overworld, and they're trying to escape, and everything's falling apart. Yeah, I like how we just don't mention that. That's just the background is the world crumbling. But no, don't worry. I mean, we're just doing nobody cares. What are our eliminated contestants coming back? What's going on? Did they escape? Or are they trying to escape? Is the world crumbling? Are we dying? What's the prize gonna be? Right? Remember that one shot of the city where we were like, oh, the city's trying to find that one guy who won Person of the Year, whatever, because they donated to charity. Right? It's like, no, we need the knowledge. We need the know it. This can't be the final episode. It says the finale. No, fake news. I refuse to be a finale, and if it is the finale, I demand an episode 8 pronto. Okay, I demand. No, whatever. I'm joking, but really, there's a lot of unanswered questions. So if this is actually the finale, it might be the most underwhelming finale of all time. But there's no way it's the finale. We're gonna be. I'm sure we're gonna get to see the prize. We're gonna get to see the people escaping. We're gonna get to see something. There's no way. It can't be the last episode, bro. What? But yeah, GG the Purple Ball. Hopefully we'll discover their prize in an episode 8 that may or may not exist. And for now, I think that is all that I can realistically say about balls. Let's go. Alright, the next object shoot that we're going to be taking a look at is none other than the object shoot that is filler. So, if you remember last time, about a month ago, we took a look at the object shoot that is filler, which ended Universe 2 Season 1 had ended, to be specific, with the best lotion winning in a 10-9 split. They eventually became evil, then we managed to defeat them using the recovery center. Everybody is back to life, and then we got ourselves, a pretty happy ending. Not really, wow, what a voice crack. Not really much else to say, but we're heading towards the object show sequel that is filler. Who are these bums? Let's see how we transition into it. Let's go. Alright, that is season 2 of TUOS Stiff, or I guess I gotta say, what is TUOS? How do you say it? I guess it's TUOS Tiff because it's 2S, right? So you gotta say the word TUOS in there. But that is the object show sequel. That is filler. We have got 3 hosts now. That Skullfella has been promoted to host, as well as Recovery Center, who I guess they did a pretty good job of hosting that one final sentence of the final episode. So they have now been promoted to host as well. So we have ourselves our contestants. Who are our contestants? We have 12 of them, which I think doubles up the total amount of contestants from the other season. We are making big changes around here. Who are our contestants? So we got Pi. That alongside the name definitely gives me a general Anno Simbib vibe, right? Because, Pi is an Anno Simbib, and what Anno Simbib does for a second season is just call it the sequel. So I have a feeling we might have some inspiration. Then we got ourselves colored paper. They are a colored paper, yes. We got Thing, who's a thing. Then we got Questiony, who doesn't really know any. They just ask question. Whoopee Cushion, a clown nose, rubbish, which that's fun. Shoe sock, who smells really bad. Then apparently we got a fella that can't speak, titled a plastic head, and then there's Film Reel, who's more fancy. Sup and Bandana return. I'm just gonna guess that they won the poll the other time for the fan favorites, and then immediately we proceed to have an intro right after saying everybody's name. Obviously, we need an intro that says everybody's name. Okay, bro. But we now have ourselves the first challenge. We basically key gets thrown away too far to somebody out there in the back, get them to the host, and then you will win. They proceed to do various things and be very bad at keeping running. They do a bunch of throws and stuff because they realize that they think that this is basketball where you can't take more than 2 steps forward without passing the ball. I'm joking, but that's what I'm guessing is happening. Why don't know? Somebody's got to start running, bro. Then when we do run, we fucking trip on a rock. So it's not exactly an elite tier tactic. But eventually, after the key gets stolen by nearly everybody, it's still like plastic, and I don't think they get to see it. Question, he ends up finding it. They're like, yo, what do I do it? And it's like, yo, give it to them. And it's like, okay, then I'm just gonna give it to them. Question is no bullshit, alright? They'll ask questions, but once they've asked a question, they're locked in, okay? So, you just gotta say it twice, and that means that their team is safe. I think the lotions or whatever they're called. And then we have ourselves the other team up for elimination, which was called like team name.exe. Or no, .txt. A subcolor paper whoopee cushion thing, shoe sock, and plastic head. Who gets out? I'm gonna predict plastic head because the fact that we didn't write them into this episode already, like they didn't even grab the key, already doesn't give me a good sign that this character is really gonna get used a lot in the season. Like I don't really have good faith, but yeah, that's who I'm predicting to get out. However, what do I think of this season? This season's interesting. It's more so bigger than it is necessarily immediately better, right? This is one of the things that you got to kind of think about when heading into a season by season, right? Is that you want a season to be noticeably different or improved than the last one, right? Which this is going to be bigger, and it is probably going to be better, especially because of just the natural improvements to pacing and all that jazz that has been done. I remember back when I originally reviewed the other shit that is filler, I complained about the pacing being too fast. It has massively improved. I didn't even think about that until like right now, which implies that we're doing fine, right? But yeah, the one recommendation that I'd give, especially for this, because this is technically the 6th or 7th season if you consider Universe 1, right, is that from season to season, it gets stale if there's not any type of change in the way that the show's directed, right? I'm going to use Anno Simbib as an example. Aso Simbib, right, proceeds to like it has arcs and stuff more properly than Anno Simbib. It is not only bigger, it is also better, and it's focusing more on narrative, right? And like this is the type of thing that you kind of got to do to make a season 2 stand out as something worth watching than just season 1. Because otherwise, like, well, why would we just do season 1 again, right? But that is the type of thing. I'm not saying that this is, at the end of the day, you can't judge that with one episode. And also, the cast is bigger. There's more hosts, so of course, especially the additional hosts already make a new type of dynamic, and the episodes are going to be longer because there's just more total people, right? But it is absolutely one thing that I would suggest keeping in mind heading into the future. That's all I've got to say about TUOS. Let's go next. Alright, the next thing that we're going to be taking a look at is Object Goof, indeed, because the other day, Object Goof 5 released, actually not the other day, yesterday, Object Goof 5 indeed released. It might even have a debut in it. It is the longest episode by a full minute compared to the other ones. If you forgot what happened in episode 4, we had the elimination of a clock, and we had a challenge being to throw balls. Rolling Pin Jr. threw balls that apparently wasn't what you were supposed to do, so them alongside the balls that they threw to Diamond Brick ended up being up for elimination. And got a very cute interaction of Lemon and the cookie, the crumble cookie. And then that's about it. Time for episode 5. An apple a day keeps the cloud away. Let's go. Alright, so that is Object Goof 5. So it's a relatively standard episode, however, with a debut at the end of it. So our elimination with 11 votes to 1. We end up having Rolling Pin Jr. eliminated. I mean, I guess they complained about losing. No, I guess, okay, they did the challenge. Okay, so the challenge was to throw balls, but yeah, I guess they weren't necessarily supposed to throw balls at people. Right, so I guess they're mean, so I guess they get out. That's fair. Then the final 5 is all safe, despite the fact that the challenge was to give an apple, and they get an apple, and that's not really a challenge. But we have ourselves the debutants, 28 debutants, considering, you know, the last elimination had a total of, what, 12 votes? That is a lot of people for not a lot of votes. So I don't know what the competition is going to be, but it's going to be complicated. Who do I think has interesting opportunities to join? Who do I enjoy? Because like when this show, you kind of got to think of it in the fact that the actual characters in this show struggle to get screen time 90% of the time. So we need somebody that's easy, got immediate jokes, got immediate ideas where you can do that, right? So I'm immediately thinking that slushy fella ended up, set a pretty AO line, so maybe them. The screensaver's fun. You love the screensaver, and you know those types of characters like Friend from AIF. Those types of characters end up being pretty beloved, so I think they could be a decent rejoiner. The root beer also, just kind of being an immediately drunken fella, also makes for an immediately interesting little concept. So those are the 3 that I would personally consider for a rejoin. I did also enjoy the anti-Australia sign and the fact that anti-Australia talks in an Australian accent. Like, that's fun. But yeah, those are the 4 that I kind of picked out as some interesting ones here from my watch through of the debutante video. Although, again, anybody could realistically join. You got to remember, everybody has a recommender, and every recommender has their own group, circle, whatever it is, right? So, especially with these shows that don't have unnecessary, like an insane amount of voting of regular basis, then a lot of the time it's gonna depend which one of these voters is gonna get their friends along to vote. You know, all those questions. I personally hope that the probably that the root beer joins, because I think the root beer is the most immediate. Root beer. No, I want Screensaver to join actually. No, I want Screensaver. I think Screensaver makes a nice addition to the sort of weird uncanniness that this show ends up delivering so much of the time. I think that having a character like this that just feels completely detached from any type of emotional logic, I think completely fits the bill of the show. So I hope Screensaver joins. However, y'all do your votes. If you want the freaking crown that has its tongue out all the time to join, you can do that. I mean, I'm not gonna stop you. But yeah, Object Grief keeps itself moving at its very fast but very slow speed. Is that everything? Yeah, let's keep it moving. Let's go to the next segment of the video. Alright, the next thing that we're going to be taking a look at is 2 shows from a creator called Samolaki or Samolache. I don't actually know. Samolache. Is that leche? I don't really know. But basically, they recommended that I watch their 2 object shows, which they have, and therefore I decided, you know what? I mean, if that's what we're going to do, that is what we're going to do now. So, they're all both relatively short. I think one of them has 2 episodes and one of them has 1. I'm not 100% sure because the channel is a little bit messy, to be honest. Like, there's no proper, like, playlist structure. However, we're gonna go with Battle of Epicness, which as far as I'm aware has 2 episodes, alright, to start. Episode 1, episode 2A. So we're going to watch both of those, starting with episode 1, titled That Was Fast. Let's go. All right, that is episode 1 of Battle of Epicness. So we get introduced to our cast. Now, who is our cast? Should we introduce okay, what's the best spot for us to see the global cast? Um okay, so we have got give me a moment. Where I swear it said their names at some point. I guess it didn't. But basically we have ourselves a bunch of characters, and then a clock mine. So like in Bloons TD, that one mine, it looks like, to be honest, it's a very cool looking clock. I should really I should enjoy how they look like. So we have a orange walkie-talkie, a trading card, and a sunscreen. Those end up forming one of the teams. They seem to be relatively nice. Sunscreen is the kind of oblivious but manages to do everything. Trading card is the nicer, than the walkie-talkie is a little bit of the more logical one. Then we got the dust, the combo of like the scooper and also the duster, so that you can proper pick it up. So yeah, because they're used together. That's fun. I like that. And then also a toothbrush with no arms, I think. And then the final team is some sort of a camera, a coconut, and also a football character, as well as then the metal ball, which is the evil character that's super mean, alongside the sassy character, which seems to be this little lamp. Then the comic book is the kind of oblivious hoo character, right? So we form these four teams. As I said, we form these four teams. However, apparently after 10 seconds of team forming, the clock is already tired and says it's too long. I understand you don't want to animate that much, but like I'm not a big fan of the excuse of, oh, it's taking too long. No, what do you mean it's taking too long? It's been 5 seconds. But anyways, two teams get formed automatically, and then the challenge is to chug the lava lamp. Now, I don't know about you, but you can't drink lava lamps. You can't do that, but the sunscreen somehow manages to no problem. But hey, I guess I don't know. Maybe they're protected because like lava or whatever in the sun. I have no idea how the hell the football manages to chug the lava lamp and not be dead. So you can't do that, right? You can't do it. Hold on. Can you drink a lava lamp? What happens if I drink the liquid? Sometimes water colored by dye, which are most likely not food safe but might not kill you. Okay, so basically no, you can't do that. And then the team with the metal balls end up yeeting it away, because technically you can say that they say chug, but they also said chuck, right? So yeah, and that means that the other team, Dustpan, Broom, and Toothbrush, from not being able to drink undrinkable liquids, unfortunate, are up for Elam. Let's see who gets out. My prediction is Toothbrush. Let's go. Alright, that is episode 2A, and I think the latest episode of Battle of Epicness. So we have ourselves our elimination using the cake and steak theme from BFB, the swag one. To be fair, it's one of the good ones. I'm just gonna say, by the way, in the first episode, because I forgot to say, you can't really use the BFB intro song as a background theme. It just doesn't work. It's too distracting. It's debatably too good. It's debatably too good. It's actually really an elite tier theme. But we successfully have ourselves a Toothbrush get eliminated with 2 votes, and then we set ourselves up into the challenge, which is to make it to the end of the road. Comic book has a car within them that they can apparently pull out and turn into a real vehicle, so they drive off of that. Then the dustbin and the duster, I don't remember what they're called, but they end up holding on to the back of the car to try to get a ride there. And in the meanwhile, Sunscreen starts vomiting because of the lava lamp yesterday, and they proceed to yeet themselves over to the end. So that means that the only thing that hasn't had a plan yet is the football team. Theoretically, I mean, if not wrong, I mean, if like the football also chugged down the entire lava lamp, they should be cooked too, right? In terms of like having somebody vomit, right? So maybe it's possible. We'll have to see. But then the episode eventually ends because apparently it's taking too long, even though it's 2 minutes long. So it'll get divided into episode 2B, which is not out yet, unfortunate. So yeah, what I think of the show overall, I think that it's got itself a pretty interesting art style. I mean, you see, like I can see events happening, right? Interesting things, and like everything. I like the assets, to be honest, that we're doing, especially for the host. I think they're pretty interesting. Characters do manage some unique movements from time to time, but it's just kind of suffering from the detail that this show is struggling to just get made. Like at the end of the day, it's a level of quality that we seem to be unable to upkeep properly. Because it's like, oh, okay, I can do this, but in both episodes we've had to cut off something because it's taking too long, right? And if we're at the point where like making a 3-minute episode takes too long, then we might need to tone it down a little bit, unfortunately. Like we need to try to sort ourselves out a way to get this level of animation out in a quicker time span, because otherwise it's just kind of not going to be it's just not going to work if we keep having to go like, oh yeah, but unfortunately this takes too long, oh yeah, but this was taking too long, oh no, we're going too slowly, right? Like this type of thing, it just isn't going to work if we keep doing this. And especially considering, I mean, this episode is what, for 5 months old, and we've not had 2B yet. That's not a good sign for the universe at large. This show needs to find a way to get a consistent animation that it can pull off reliably. But other than that, good luck to it. It's got some interesting characters, interesting designs, and it's still super early days, so it's kind of hard to judge. Let's do the other one now. The other show is titled EOOS, okay? EOOS is called Every Other Object Show. This one, as far as I'm aware, has only one episode, which released 7 days ago. Let's watch it, let's talk about it, let's go do that stuff. Alright, that is episode 1 of EOOS, called Every Other Object Show. So we get introduced to our cast, which is In-N-Out Burger, Crayon, this lemonade, a cookie who happens to be a superhero, comedy mask, a popcorn, which is an interestingly shaded asset, a banana, and then a magnet who seems to be pretty excited. Again, we don't really get to know too much about them because our challenge is super fast. It takes 3 seconds. The crayon just orders a pillow off Amazon, and they win. Surprised enough, ordering that pillow costs more than the prize. I'm just saying. But I'd like to point out, the thing about it is that, like, again, this animation is solid. I really do see potential here. Like, especially the way that this algebraic host here, that they name themselves Red Triangle. Like, you see, they pull off some interesting movements. They do some interesting fun. They're very mobile, and they're just kind of like, they pull off interesting animation, and some characters pull off interesting animations as well. Like In-N-Out's burger asset, I'm just gonna say it's a good damn asset. The facial expressions are pretty good. I really like Red Triangle's way of like sorting out the prize. I think that's real fun, right? And like there's even some creative ideas, like the transition into the intro. That's good. That's very nice. But like in general, and the voting cards as well, it's very solid. I really like, especially Cookie and Magnet's way of standing in the voting screen as well. Like it's all very solid. However, it's just, can we do this reliably? Now, it's not necessarily right. Like, oh, can we do this quickly, right? Because if somebody's just ultra locked in, they can probably do something quickly. It's just that, like, can we do this reliably? Quickly is a different question than reliably, right? Because it's like, if you can get it done in a week, however, it takes like 3 hours, like it takes a majority of your day, right? And it's because you had a week off. Then like, okay, you got it done in a week, but you're not gonna want to do another one, right? Like you kind of need to focus on having fun making it, make it in a way that's reliable. But like, if we can get this level of animation on a show like this or a show like that one, it's gonna be a very charming little flip a clip show. I mean, for the especially like. Yeah, for Flipper Clip, it can absolutely work itself out as a pretty cute show that I wouldn't mind watching. I see the skeleton here of an interesting show with some potential. All right, because I see smooth movement, I see interesting movement, I see interesting assets. Voice acting is fine, it's mixed well, right? Like I see the skeleton of a show. It just has to happen now, Like it's interesting. Now it just has to happen. Like we need to get the show to go, right? We need to press the on switch. But like, keep it up if you can, and yeah, good luck to you. And then the next thing that we're going to be taking a look at is Inanimate Kerfuffle. So Inanimate Kerfuffle is made by BFDIF, BFDIF, I'm not exactly sure how you'd want to say it. However, they're a fellow YouTube creator with 389 subscribers, and about probably near no, it's about a week ago, a little bit longer than a week. They asked me to review their show. Their show is titled Inanimate Kerfuffle. It currently has 4 episodes that comprise its season 1, starting 11 months ago, with its latest episode being 2 weeks ago. So there's a relatively long set of production time between these episodes. Let's see if there's anything worth writing home about. With episode 1, let's get started. The thumbnails are good at the very least. Let's go. I have just watched episode 1 of Inanimate Kerfuffle, and man, okay, this is unfortunate, is what this is. That's the best way that I can describe this, because, like, okay, so do we start off with the positive, okay? The positive is that this just looks really good. As far as like the way that this show looks in terms of animation, it's great. You know, like the characters have all very distinct style. It's a cast with some, okay, the ideas aren't the most original, but each character is distinctly different than each other, right? They're designed differently. The backgrounds are all pretty damn solid. We have some nice challenge graphics as well. The teams have their own logos, and they're also pretty nice, right? Like in general, the animation is pretty solid, right? And it's very clean. It's a very nice, clean aesthetic, right? I like how each character, we take appreciation to not just have the front, but also the back for certain poses, right? But like in general, it's okay, but no, like no, in that perspective, like animation wise, the show's great already. The intro is also good. However, actually, I forgot to also say, in terms of writing, this episode is pretty interesting. I see the idea behind this. It's mildly generic. I'm not gonna lie. We start off here with the initial scene, which is everybody eventually gets a note. So the 8 ball, which is a magic 8 ball, by the way, as we get to see at the ending when like they're facing back towards seeing, like they're a magic 8 ball, but they need Rendu, so they start to host a competition. And a bunch of people get invited to it, and each one reads one part of the note. That's cool. That's a nice little narrative trick, right? And then we have ourselves. They wake up on an island, and the island is simply formed 2 teams of 8. They form the 2 teams of 8. And then we have ourselves a challenge, which is to chisel. What are the 2 teams of 8? We have the Red Rangers, which is lemon, tomato, headband, camera, the Game Boy kind of character, the phone, slushy, and a chocolate bar. And then on the other team, we have ourselves. What is the other team? Uh, the other team is titled Not That I Know of, which is the Brick, Ace of Hearts, Cheese, Present, Plunger, Dice, Carrot, and the Notebook. So in terms of these teams, I don't really know too much about them, since like we're really not really going to learn of the characters too much yet. In terms of assets, again, some of the cast is pretty smart in my opinion. A bunch of them feel like kind of the picks that I've seen before, kind of like Dice. Very smart character, Dice. I always recommend every show to have a Dice. But yeah, but a lot of them are solid. The phone, I think, uses the same voice effect as Somebody Does an Animatic Battle. The like no, they don't use the Pixel in in no, wait, Pixel in something. Okay, it was a Pixel character, but yeah. And in general, the challenge is to chisel stone. The best one wins. The other one's up for elimination. It's okay as a challenge. No, it's not. I never like chiseling challenges like sculpting, because yet again, there's literally no reason for objects to know how to sculpt. However, for some reason, nearly all of them do. But like, okay. So it feels kind of cheap because it's like, oh, who's gonna score better? I don't know. Like, what's this, like there's no basis for us to gauge who would be good at this and who wouldn't be good at this. One of them gauges headband, however, it breaks it because of the other one's coming in with sabotage, and the other one does a very simple triangle sculption, and it gets a 5 out of 10. But then the other one's destroyed, it gets a 0 out of 10. I really like the back of the camera being showed. Like that's fun with the screen and everything. I hope we use that in the future, and then that means that the team, of course, who got hijacked, ends up being up for elimination with camera, Gamigo, phone, lemony, tomato, slushy, headband, and chocolate bar. The voting icons are all pretty solid as well. The backgrounds are pretty solid, but like everything about this is perfectly fine. The problem is that this show is an audio disaster. This video is a disaster of audio. What is the I'm sorry, but like my ears did not enjoy one bit of this, and like it's important. We need this. It's important. At least it's stereo. However, it's like the thing about it is that we have the warning at the beginning. Okay, we've been warned at least that disclaimer, like if you hear any whales, it is from the computer. Yeah, okay, cool. I don't mind hearing the whales in the computer. I would just like to hear the voice as well. It would be really useful. But like it's really unfortunate, because it's like the whales are all, first of all, they're all different loudness. And I think what's going on here. Okay, so for a moment, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I was a little bit confused about how the voices were getting made because they sounded kind of AI. I'm not gonna lie, but the credits say that apparently BFDIF did them all. So I'm presuming that what is going on, since there's a lot of vocal range. Yeah, this bro might be a great voice actor. However, I think what's happening is that they're recording lines and then putting filters on them to sound different, right? To make them for different characters, which is okay, but it does sometimes make a voice sound a little bit robotic, whatever. But I think the main issue that this causes is that it makes those computer sounds, they get boosted up or down, and it ends up being a little bit of a nightmare. So like, it's a problem because it's like every character has a different like loudness of the background noise, and it ends up making a bad overall sound, right? It's not very good. And then in that same aspect, like it's just completely not mixed. Like we have completely refused to do audio mixing, right? Which means that we've just kind of plonked down the music. However, like since the character, like we either hear the characters way quieter. Abo is the worst offender. They are so unbelievably quiet that you literally can't hear them half the time. And then some characters are at least going to be the same level as the music, but the music has to be quieter. It can't be at the same level. The music is way too loud. Okay, the music is way too loud. So the sound effects are the same volume as the music, if not louder. So usually we have loud sound effect with loud music with quiet voice that, however, has loud wind in the background from the computer. Like it's a global problem, and it makes from watching the show from a very nice experience, like visually speaking. It's very nice. It's got itself an immense amount of promise to it. However, like I can't this audio is a 1 million out of 10 problem. This is a priority. Okay, like we cannot keep this up because it just isn't gonna work. Like you just can't. Like I'm sorry, but I don't think that you can have a show that sounds like this. It just doesn't work. Like it's too annoying to listen to dodge the problems, okay? But like it needs a huge audio rework, and I'm really hoping that these next 3 episodes to proceed to give it an attempt to do an audio rework, right? Like just anything. Literally anything, please, because it's good. It's just I can't focus on it. It's too annoying. Okay. All right. Let's hope for the best. I'm crossing my fingers here. Heading into episode 2 of Inanimate Kerfuffle on the Dart block. Let's go. Okay, so a while ago I took a look at the second episode of Inanimate Kerfuffle, and I mean, at this point, it's like, this is super confusing. Like, I'm sorry to talk about the audio over and over again, but I just have to talk about the audio over and over again because it's genuinely a mystery. So, like, what is happening is super interesting. So, like, genuinely, I'm not even gonna lie, so many of these voices, they don't sound like a person. They don't sound like a person. The credits say that they're speaking. It's hard to believe. Again, my presumption is that we're using a filter. Okay, I think what's happening is that we're using a filter, and then the filter is distorting the background noise of the audio, which either makes it sound okay or not okay. I think that's what's happening. Okay, because generally it's rough. It is a rough, especially on the first half. Oh, yeah, that's the other part. It's inconsistent. Like, you know the camera character, right? At the beginning, they're genuinely impossible to listen to. Okay, they're like unlistenable. All right. And then like their voice is cutting off. There's an immense amount of background noise. But then here at the end, it's completely clear, crystal clear. There is not 1 inch of background noise in that post-credit scene. I say, wait, what is happening? How are we doing this? And it's like, wait, doesn't make any sense because it's like, I don't know, it just depends on the character and the stuff, especially like that elimination ceremony is cooked. It is so hard to hear. It's like that, the elimination ceremony, like when Abel's talking and everything, it genuinely sounds like we recorded this at a concert with how much background noise there's. Like, we can't keep doing this. But then other characters don't have it, and apparently every character is voiced by the same person. So then it's like, wait, what? I don't. It's a, oh, bro. This is unfortunate. Still, the audio mixing is a little bit better. The music is still quite a bit loud. Um, However, like, it's better, but like 5%, it's like 10% better, but 10% more than zero is still 10%, right? Like, we're keeping ourselves at a relatively low level. Um, However, it's really unfortunate because, again, the animation is cool. It's fun. I like what's happening. The orb apparently sends someone into the void. The animation is very cool. I like the glitch effect of when they get out. You know, they go into the black and white lands, right? And all that jazz. And then we have the confessionals round, which, you know me, I love confessionals. Confessionals are goated. Confessionals are really good as a way to, get to properly imagine the characters as character with thoughts, rather than just go like, oh yeah, they just fell doing. Like, we have to do that. And confessions are really good. Then we have ourselves the challenges. The challenge is a game of darts with a very interesting dartboard. So the square in the middle is a ×5 to your rest of your score, and then you want to land on the other side to get points, I think, from 1 to 10. So that is interesting. So you get your score, and then you can try to multiply by 5 to properly figure it out. So that's interesting. But, like, in general, okay, as a challenge, it's fine. It's a little bit convenient to see. It could, like, we play a little bit on conveniency because we don't actually get to see the dartboard most of the time, right? Even though I like it as a challenge because everybody gets to go, everybody has a turn, we get to see every character, how they perform, right? Which is nice because we don't have a chance, like, we have a challenge where everybody gets to do a thing compared to the last challenge when nobody got to do a thing, right? However, we don't get to see the dartboard more. I would have just shown it, right, to see where the hell the people threw, right? Because we just see them throw, and then it's like, you got a 6, and it's like, oh, okay, and then the other person threw, and it's like, you got a 105, and it's like, wait, what? Like, see that most of the robotic characters ended up getting the 105. But overall, yeah, like, it was a relatively fun watch, though, even though it, mostly played. It was relatively mundane. It was monotone. Okay, it was a monotone challenge. It was like this. There wasn't too much drama going on in it. But dude, I was like, it's just. I feel bad because it's animated so well. It's actually animated really well, and it's written okay. I just cannot stand to listen to it. It's like, this is the level of quality where I'm almost considering, maybe I should dust up the old voice acting boots because I gotta fix this. I gotta upload Inanimate Kerfuffle, but the audio is gonna like revoice and I redub it or something. It's like, what is this, man? It's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, it's just a thing. Like for example, the game ego, the game ego, right? Like that guy is so. I mean, that's just a fault of the effect. But the effect paired with the background noise on the effect ends up making it so that a lot of the time you can't even listen to him. And like I think there was once or twice where we literally you had subtitles in the video for what they were saying, because even the creator understood that we didn't, or that we could not understand it. Now, my curious is, how the hell did you listen to the rest of the audio and think that was fine? Is it just, I don't know. Like, it's not, it's beyond the computer. Like, it's just, it's unfortunate, man. It's really, really unfortunate. But eventually, at the end of the challenge, we end up having the dot tick wait, well, the other team ends up being safe. I forgot the team name, bro. I watched this a while ago. I'm super sorry. The Red Raiders won the challenge by 3 points on the over the other team after some discussion between the character and the other character. I mean that they're up for elimination. Yet again, I think that the voting sides on this team are also very solid. You know, I like the background. I like them pretty solid. Out of these characters, what do I currently think will get eliminated? Maybe Bricky. I do like the Bricky detail having teeth of a different color. That's something which you very rarely see in a design, actually. Like, that's actually really rare. But they kind of don't do anything. They're kind of not that interesting. And I'd probably tell you that Bricky gets out. You know, the Ace of Hearts has like those superpowers that we discovered about. Yeah, by the way, Ace of Hearts has apparently powers that they unleash for the challenge, right? I'm surprised that she pulled them all that early, because of course we get to hear it in the confessional for Ace of Hearts, and I'm surprised that she already pulled it off. I mean, like, okay, did you really need superpowers to throw darts? I mean, like, I don't know if it was needed. Cheesy could get out, because I mean, I guess they threw. Cheesy's the only character that's not voice acted apparently by BFTA. Apparently, bro, I need to stop. Here, Cheesy. Which, however, failed the challenge. Kara is the mean one, though. You know, I think Kara. No. Kara's gotta go, right? Kara was the mean one. Yeah, no, never mind. They gotta go. They were the mean one that kind of didn't. That also failed. So yeah, they gotta go. And then we have ourselves the post-credit scene where camera, you know, has their eye, of course, punched out, and then they have the headband. For some reason it disappears after like 1 minute, so I guess that healed pretty quickly. And then headband goes in the scenery, whatever the scenery is, but they go to the scenery where there's the sneaker with no, it's just a sneaker. And then they end up telling them, yo, you're in the scenery. It's like, what is this place? We don't get to find out, but it's presumably just a white void where you get eliminated, and the orb sends you. I'm presuming you're like in the orb or whatever. But yeah, overall, I'm enjoying watching this show. I'm just not enjoying hearing it. That's kind of the big problem. That's the big problem. This is like, I think, to the degree, like, I don't mind the background noise, okay? I don't mind that. But when you pair that alongside effects that make it hard to hear, alongside audio mixing that has the music be too loud half the time, plus roboticness, so many of these voices, because the voice filters make it sound like AI. Like, and then a complete inconsistency of the background. Like, I know my background noise is this every character has a different background noise, it's jarring, right? Those elements paired together, I think, cause. Ooh, they cause a mess, dude. They cause an absolute chaos on the ears, and I'm really hoping SO 3 and 4 clutch up right now, okay? Because we've got cool animation, cool everything. We just need to be able to listen to the characters, to have audio. You know, we need one audio editor on the show, and then we're immediately fixed. We're good, right? Because you can do noise suppression. Noise suppression is fine. You can do effects. You can tweak them, right? You just got to work. We just need one audio editor on the show. Literally anything, and then we'll be 100% good. I am gonna talk about this because, in my opinion, something can look bad more than it can sound bad. You know, a YouTube video that looks bad, you can gloss over it, right? You can read through the lines. You can watch through the lines. Hearing through the lines is way more complicated. So yeah, hearing is one of the most important part of a show. And like this, whew, that is tough. It's tough to listen between the lines. I'm very sorry for the critique, but we'll go to episode 3 called Heated Tensity, and we can hope for the best out here, all right? Let's go. Let's go. And let's go, please. Okay. Okay, I just watched episode 3 of Inanimate Kerfuffle Heated Tensity. So, the audio is fine. That's my angelic sound. That was probably actually the opposite of angelic, but like I was, oh my god, the audio is fine. There's no background noise. Background noise has been removed. We have ascended. We can actually watch the show for what it is. Now, the only question related to audio that I have is, are these voices real? I can't tell. I can't tell. They look so text to speech, man. That's the confusion. But we apparently the only text, according to the credits, okay, the only text to speech is the phone, which is the obvious one. But the other one, it says that they're all. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm believing this. They're saying that, like, these characters are apparently all voiced. Their voices sound so robotic. Like, what is happening? I don't know. I think some of them are gotta be. I don't know. I'm sorry, but I think that some of them are AI. Because, like, if I'm just imagining it, and it's like it was the elimination. Okay, I'm got convinced it's the elimination, because at the elimination, right, we had somebody fall. No, like after we fell down to the llama headband, we did the fakest scream of all time. It was like and it was like, yes, that's what happens when you type a lot of A's into a text to speech. You know, it just says it like that. Like, this is gotta be. It just is gotta be. I'm sorry, but anyways, we have ourselves an interesting episode. So lava has taken over the ground, and they all need to stand somewhere. Everybody ends up. Well, a couple of people stand on trees and stuff, but in general, majority of people end up hanging onto Ace of Hearts with their powers. Who's like, okay, fine, I'll fly and keep you guys safe, right? But eventually, a ball props up a platform because it's time to do the elimination. We have our intro that's a little bit too zoomed in, and then we have, well, the elimination. So, who ends up getting out? Yeah, it's Carrot, by the way. Carrot ends up getting out, which is rather fun compared to Cheesy. Yet again, I've gushed about it enough, but it's good. It's good animation. It's good. The graphics are very good. The assets are also very solid. Just the general look of this show is very, very, very solid. Okay, there is nothing against it at all. But yeah, Kara gets eliminated, which makes perfect sense. Considering her general meanness, she proceeds to be sent down. After turning red, which is fun, you know. Oh, the carrot turns into, like burnt version of itself. But nah, they end up dipping, and then we have our challenge. So the challenge ends up being the challenge from Object Overload. You stand on a platform, and a lot of shit gets thrown at you. Like a lot, we get and then everybody gets on the platform. We'll throw dodgeballs, dodge them for 10 minutes, and you are safe. Otherwise, no. Which is interesting. For some reason, the Dice fella, Dice and Ace of Hearts are blushing in that one scene when 8-Ball is starting to set up the challenge. Not really sure why. We don't actually see it. I think, do we even see a single interaction with these two? I don't know. These two, they're kind of suspicious. But, we have ourselves the challenge, which is pretty fun. I am gonna say one thing that I actually really like is showing the challenge example with the recommended characters is a great idea. I don't know why more shows don't do that now, because their example, anyways. Usually, we just have like a ball character to be a generic one, but like, yeah, no, use recommended characters for those sections. That way you can fit them in and also give them something to do as like the example. I think that's great, actually. That's a great idea. More people should do that. That's cool. um but eventually we end up having ourselves the challenge. Apparently we can't we have to stay on the platform. Ace of Hearts, you can't fly out of the platform. I don't know if Ace of Hearts was going to try that, but yeah, Slushy eventually calls it out. And then our challenge starts. So this challenge is okay, however, we completely forgot about it halfway through. So okay, the problem with this challenge, right, is that it doesn't really make any sense with the teams. Like, this is an individual challenge. At the end of the day, like, yes, this is an individual challenge, and you can't really team this one too well unless it's like the most amount of people that stood on the platform, right? However, there's the thing is that at a certain point we just forget, because what was the pitch of this challenge? Everybody stays on the platform, survive for 10 minutes, and then you're chilling. Okay, what ends up happening is we have the challenge where we're playing dodgeball. You have to attack each other, and then the last one standing wins for their team. That was actually being ideated here, even though that's not what was pitched at all. Remember, they did that. You're supposed to dodge the ball, like they get thrown at you, and you dodge them. But then we get into our final four, and we just don't do any of that. We just go like, oh, you guys aren't willing to attack each other. No, that's your job. You're supposed to attack them. You're supposed to throw the dodgeballs at them. That's the point. They won't attack each other, so you are doing. Oh my god, I demolished the microphone. Like, that's your job. What do you mean rock, paper, scissors? They do the RNG, and then it's like you could there's not even any reason for the winner to win. It's just a writing whatever, right? Like, it's just writing conveniency. Like, no, why do we just forget about the challenge partway through? And the timer never ends, by the way. We as soon after we see the 5-minute halftime like breakdown of who's in and who's out, we never actually get the time never ends, because again Abel forgets about the time. But like, bruh. But anyways, positive that I'm gonna say is, unlike Object Overload, every person here actually has their own customized pillar with various colors. So like Swiss cheeses has holes. The camera one is gray and blue. The present one is a yellow and blue as well. Yellow and sand. It's very nice. Ace of Hearts is white and red. Those are actually very good details. We discovered that as a part of the Ace of Hearts powers, they can also grow additional limbs, which is fun. I guess, but eventually they get defeated after one of their balls got caught over by Slushy. We end up having Notebooky and Phone just kind of having a little bit of a conversation the entire time. They weren't really in the mixture too much, which again is insane. The challenge is that we were getting balls thrown at us, and you're telling me that we just start throwing balls after a bit. And Notebooky and Phone, it's like, I don't know, we forgot the challenge half the time. Like, we just forgot about it. Like, that's pretty much how we just completely forgot about the challenge. But like, yeah, Phone eventually is that I can't eat food, which is unfortunate. But yeah, let's have a nice bonding moment, which is it's fun to have. Well, it's fun to have a nice bonding little moment, from time to time. But yeah, eventually winning ends up being, who even wins? I don't know. I wait, Slushy? No. Wait, does Slushy win or does no? The other fella wins. The present wins, right? Yeah. Present won the rock paper scissors. Good job, Present. You are the best rock paper to ever scissors. And then we have our other fellas up for elimination with some new voting cards. Ooh. They're more square now. I mean, they were square before, but now they've got like backgrounds that are like squared. Um, Who gets out here? I mean, presumably Lemony, I think, because Lemony is the character that like the cast themselves don't like. They're like, yo, how can you withstand Lemony? Lemony's annoying. Lemony's all mad, and Lemony's mean, and Lemony's not a good person. It's like presumably we're eliminating Lemony, right? But that's all cool. Then we have ourselves the final time where apparently it's like, yo, you know how we complained about the fact that we want our ground back? Yeah, I kind of don't want to move anyways. It's like, bruh. You can't take two that go down to the grass. Okay then. But in general, yeah, I mean that episode was cool. You tell that I started like more in depth talk about the episode because I actually started paying attention to the episode rather than just paying attention to the audio quality. And again, don't get me wrong, we are not quite there yet. Music is still a thing. And like we still have the whole voices thing. I genuinely cannot clock if these are AFS or not. However, that scream from Kara, that scream from Kara, that like that does not sound real. That does not sound like a real person. I'm really sorry if this actually is voice acted by people. Okay, I'm really sorry. However, it's just that like the filter makes it sound so robotic that it doesn't. That's just how much the filter changes it. Like I'm just saying, right? So I guess take that into account, right? It's just how much of a difference it makes. Time for the fourth and the latest episode of the Inanimate Kerfuffle. It is titled 20 to Win. It is a Thanksgiving special. All right then, let's go. Alright, so that is episode 4 and the current latest episode of Inanimate Kerfuffle. So we have ourselves a new pair of co-hosts, electricity based. Somebody, this guy, which had a name which I already don't remember, but they ended up being the official co-host with Kraton we're called. So they have our own television co-host as well called Solar. So they act as the co-host to Ace Ball and Co. for the series for now. While 8Ball is setting up the challenge, apparently, what these fellas end up doing is hosting the elimination. So before we do that, let's chat about the audio for one final time. So, the audio is fine. I still completely don't trust that the voices are people. A few of them definitely are, but a few of them aren't, I think. Even though, again, if you imagine that they all had background voices earlier in episodes 2 and 1, that would theoretically bolster the detail that it is a voice. However, I don't know. The effects placed on them are so strong that they start feeling like they're not real people voices. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. And in terms of the audio mixing, there is currently no mixing done on the music, which is unfortunate. It has to just be quieter. Just look, it's the easiest change. Just grab the music's, lower it down by 10 decibels. You are immediately gonna have a better show because of it. Okay, trust me on that one. It's much easier to hear the people. That means that you don't need to hear it. It's not original tracks anyway, right? So yeah, let's do the elimination where we have 11. Wait, how many votes? 14 or 11? We have. Wait, we got a couple. 12 votes. I got neither, and then it ends up that we have a tie for first place between Camera and Lemony, and then a randomizer ends up picking, and the randomizer picks Camera to be eliminated. You know what? Fair enough. Camera would have felt way more random of an elimination than Lemony, because Camera had a lot of screen time. You know, we showed Camera a lot in the post-credit scene in the last episode, in the post-credit scene in the second episode. You know, where they were chilling, right? They have like the a front and back and everything. Like they were feeling like a proper character, right? Like again, I don't think it's for no reason that we end up seeing Camera from the back so much, because like, oh, we made this asset, let's show it off. Certain other characters we don't get to see it, right? Like a character like I don't know, Ace of Hearts. What does the back of Ace of Hearts even look like? Like surely it'd be one of those designs, right? Like the back of a card, but I don't know. I don't think we've ever seen it. So goodbye, Camera. Apparently, we have to win for Lemony. Lemony win for us, and now Lemonie's a little bit sad, but they return back to their kind of grumpy old self. And then we have ourselves the challenge. So the challenge ends up being a 20 to win, which is apparently a truth or lie challenge. Solar has a lie detector. Say will ask a question. If you answer it truthfully, you will get to take a step forward. Otherwise, you get to take a step back. All right. So immunity tickets are also, oh yeah, by the way, immunity tickets are also real. If you have an immunity, if you're the first one safe, you get an immunity ticket, which means that you can spend it at a different elimination to nullify your votes. I personally am not a big fan of using an immunity ticket in this situation because giving an immunity ticket to a character that already got the least votes and therefore already is gonna mostly be safe in eliminations feels a little bit cheap. I would personally give immunity tickets to a challenge winner, right? Because the challenge winner is more likely to need to utilize it than the person who has the least votes. Because if you have the least votes, I mean, it's like, why would you want a ticket that removes your vote? I understand that it's for the big future, but it just makes him so powerful. When I think that like a token earns more value when it's in the high of the top performer, right? So, anyways, that's what I think. But now the challenge is that, and then we begin. This is a good opportunity to, of course, solve some of our big old mysteries. We discovered that Bricky eats cereal with nails without milk, which is interesting. But yeah, we then have ourselves some other questions. Can Notebook draw? Yes, Notebook can draw, just not very well. Then we have the question, Slushy, what flavor are you? It's not Berry Blast, apparently. That's actually wrong. So, what flavor is it? That will need to be discovered at a later date. I mean, it's kind of difficult to, I guess, know, technically, because, like, I mean, to know, you would have to drink yourself, right? Like, unless somebody drinks, it's like, yo, you kind of vanilla. Like, I don't, like, other than that, I mean, you would only be able to do that by drinking yourself, which is, a little bit weird. Um, then Cheesy apparently has 3,672 family members, so that means that there are 3,672 pieces of cheese in the world. Somebody needs to start manufacturing more. I'm Swiss. I need more cheese in the world. Okay. Then the question for Dice: how many games do you? No, Gamey, right? How many games do you have? 18 games. What do you mean? How many games do you have? Like, as a console? What console has 18 games? The Game Boy had like 400. I don't know, but you have 18 games. Just in general, 18. 18 total games. Okay. Tomato, are you a vegetable or fruit? Tomato, how am I supposed to know that? Because you're a fucking tomato, you should know. But anyways, tomato answers a vegetable, but no, actually tomato is a fruit, which is quite unfortunate for them. They get to take 2 steps back because even though this is 20 to win, it's actually 10 to win. And then we, after halfway, we double, so it's 2 steps forwards and 2 steps back, right? So Tomato takes 2 steps back, which is very bad news here for Tomato. Anyways, we end up having a lore dump. How long have you known Dice? So apparently Ace of Hearts has known Dice for 3 years, and then they started dating, which means that this is officially a real thing. We showed it off in the last episode, and I was like, yo, is this gonna be a thing? Or is this a brewing? Did they already know each other? No, they already know each other. They're already been a thing for multi-year relationship. So yeah, Dice and Ace of Hearts, they chillin', they besties. They're a bit more than besties, but that's cool. At least it's honest. Hey, I mean, look, Dice, good job. You didn't superpower lady. You can do. You got a lot of power. And then the question is for present. What is the present inside of the present? Apparently, they don't really know. However, they just ask it and stuff materializes, which is true. Actually, I'm surprised that it wasn't wrong. Actually, no, the final question is, what can you catch but not throw? Asked the Dice and Phone. I don't know why we asked it to Dice and Phone when Dice had already answered a question, and we could have taken this moment to allow somebody else who hadn't answered be asked this, because Phone hadn't been asked a question, but Dice had, when there were multiple people who still had it, right? 3 people, in fact, still had it. So it was like, I mean, I don't know. That kind of doesn't make any sense. But Phone eventually manages to answer that it's a code, because you can catch a code and but you can't throw a code, right? Which is correct. Let's go. That's cool. I kind of figured it out. to be okay, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't figure out the riddle. Then the phone said it. I didn't understand it, and as I was rewinding, I was like, "Oh, a code." But I don't know if it was if I figured it out because I didn't understand it. So maybe I like subconsciously understood it, but thought I did it. But yeah. Then the other fellas get pity points, the three losers, and then we have our final result, 7-4. We have team the other team be the Red Raiders, right? Yeah, they end up losing again, which is unfortunate, despite the fact the phone managed to clutch up on the final question. They don't, because Slushy gets it wrong on the flavor, and then Tomato also gets it wrong on the fruit vegetable questions. If they had both answered it correctly, it would have been 7 out of 7. Ever, yeah, the other, I mean, like, to be fair to them, the other team was flawless in their execution. They told the truth. I mean, you gotta be honest, they did not ask very spicy questions. In general, like they ask kind of spicy ones, but not too spicy. Like these are the questions you're gonna ask, like the deep secrets. You gotta ask, like, who would you bring to the finale with? Like you gotta ask those deceiving questions. You gotta ask those hard hitting questions, like, yo, phone, would you date nobody? Those are the hard hitting questions. Look, we're playing. It's a very social challenge. You gotta ask these type of social questions, okay? But instead, you ask, yo, person, how did you meet your husband? Like, okay, that's just a TV show. But like, yeah, that is it for the episode. We have T2T as the TV, not exactly sure what that is, but we end up having a little bit of an explanation over on camera, which drops down, of course, to the white void land where Sneaker has been, and it's like, yo, who is Sneaker? I don't remember, but apparently it has become clear, which means the Sneaker does have some perception of how the hell they got here. Okay, it's weird. No, hold on. Does Sneaker know how they're here? Because they're like, oh, I've been here since I can remember. But it's like, oh, okay, then how did you get here? Oh, I know how I got here. Wait, so is it since you can remember, or can you remember before? I don't know, but apparently it has all become way more clear. But of course, we get left on a cliffhanger here, which is unfortunate, but no, it's okay. It's okay. Cliffhangers are fine. Cliffhangers are fine. I got there's nothing wrong with cliffhangers. As a viewer, like but like they're still. Come on, the cliffhangers are more than Gucci. And that is the show, Inanimate Kerfuffle. Excellently animated. It does a great job in setting. It does a great job in backgrounds. I think, is where this show excels. Like, it manages to have so many different and distinct backgrounds that have the location, whether it's the lava, a beach, a forest, a mountainy area. There's just a lot of backgrounds, and like, it's difficult for sure. Backgrounds aren't that easy for a show to do. You think, oh, it's just it's still limit. No, how many shows are just in a white void, right? Like, you gotta, like, backgrounds are big. It's a big deal, and the show has excellent backgrounds. The assets are also really good, and in general, the episodes are written fine. They're not the best written episodes of all time, but they're more than serviceable for a show of this size. But it just kind of the only thing that currently holds it down a little bit is that first episode had horrendous audio. The second episode had still really bad audio, and then from third to fourth we have okay audio with music that is too loud. And in general, the voices themselves, they sound so robotic that I'm questioning if everybody is just text-to-speech. That's not a good sign, right? If it isn't, if it is it? I can't decipher. I can't decipher it, and I'm so sorry. I can't decipher it, bro. Even though we say that it's not, I don't know. Look, we're gonna need to see how they sing Jingle Bell Rock. Okay, now that's the moment. Apparently they're gonna sing Jingle Bell Rock. Should I sing Jingle Bell Rock sometime? I feel like I should. I feel like I should. That's like a trend, right? People sing Jingle Bell Rock because like objects show trends are just doing what BFDI does, but like a year later. So like, yeah, I mean, Jingle Bell Rock might be my should be on the cars. Jingle Bell Rock. That is all, however, that I think I realistically got to say about the Inanimate Kerfuffle. Great looking show, needs still some more polish on the audio department, on the writing department, serviceable. We can possibly, however, try to develop some more arcs, and yeah, good job, keep it up, and good luck. And that will be all for today's installment of Object Catchup. We did what we wanted to do for today, which was keep up with the new episodes. Especially since the last time we did a keep up episode, some of the show creators have actually watched it. I'm mainly thinking the Boss creator has since seen. The catch up on it, the 22nd Object creator has since seen the catch up on it, and since they released new episodes, I also did want to cover them as well. And in general, it was a relatively good moment to do so because we have this 1 day break, I guess, from Object December. It might be two. I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow because the it seems like Object December might have been pushed back a day because we had PMOS release a day late, so it released yesterday, and then. We had WTB, which was supposed to release today, and it's gonna apparently release tomorrow, which is it's a whole new kind of worms because I don't really know what I'm actually gonna do tomorrow. Because it depends on the specific release hour, right? Like, is it gonna release like tomorrow, as in like it releases in the middle of the day, and then I can cover it with the of December, or do I have to wait for it to, or like if it releases like 3 in the morning, then that's a big problem because like I need to be able to cover it alongside PMOS because it's a short episode and I can do I can combine the December in one video. But like other than that, I don't really know. It's gonna be difficult to really know. But hey, we're just gonna let the creators cook, all right, and then we're gonna need to see. For the shows that we watched today, which at the end of the day, I mean, we did watch quite a lot of different shows, like little bits and pieces here of a lot of different shows. We're all caught up. See you next time. Goodbye.